Welcome, welcome, love beings. My name is Melissa, and I will be your multidimensional cosmic tour guide today. We're going to do a little bit of a channeling with Kurt Cobain. I have been nudged to do this for days, and I just want to say thank you for the likes and the shares and the subscribes. We're going to talk about what's going on in the energies and the frequencies, and so we shall get started. He was nudging me that energy, and so when people say, "What? You talk to dead people?" Of course, all of you know that it's my job for 30 plus years. And I was born like this. So it's not really that interesting, but it is a frequency. And he's saying, remind them that the frequencies which we reside in, which you and I in spirit or in incarnate physical form reside in, can be accessed. And he can be a known face or billboard or speaker or catalyst for us to learn from in the particular frequencies and energies that he is in. And that's what we all need. So he had me choose a crystal. So I have, crystals everywhere in my house. I reside in Sedona, Arizona area. And so I was like, what do we need? What do we need, Kurt Cobain? And he had me choose Atlantisite today. And it's for the soothing and the peace and the ease. And he has some particular messages to tell us. And he's saying, greetings, everyone from the galaxy. And he says, I just want you to know that some of the things going on in our minds are smoothing out our maps. Each one of us are universal maps inside of each one of us. And he's saying, this is part of the Christ coming home, returning in us. So I'm a little bit surprised that he's talking about that or saying it that way. Let me ask. I've got some news, he says. Things have changed. There's been some drastic shifting and growth. And he says, as always, I am here to help align the cosmic heart. So that's the heart of the universe, the light, the truth, with each of our hearts and all the beings that reside in our universe, all the frequencies becoming in divine order. And he says that's how it's supposed to be. We've been working on that, and there is some good news, and there are some really good steps coming up that you'll be able to visually see, truly know, like for sure, 100% know. And he says, we've been waiting for this. He said, I waited all my life on earth to try to watch this unfold, and waited and waited and waited and waited and waited. And he says, the cosmic Christ, the return of spirit in us, is like really docking, is what my mentor teacher would say. We're docking, because I always speak in starseed words, galactic cosmic words. So it's docking back into us what has been missing, like a missing puzzle piece for tens of thousands of years, maybe longer, hundreds, maybe 400 billion years is what it feels like. And it's coming back into alignment. And so that gives us a certain pure connection with unconditional love and opens up our cosmic hearts just a little bit more. All the knowledge throughout the different templates and archetypes and roles that we have all played and have been playing out in our world, or consciousness layers, are being aligned and docked as well in that particular unconditional love. So there's a certain frequency bandwidth that's coming in, or it's already come in. He's saying it's done, but the waves have to roll out into the universe. That helps us know that we're connected a little bit more, and our soul songs are a little bit more in tune with the cosmic heart of the universe, with God, source, creator, the God molecule, whatever word you use. And he's saying, yeah, we've got this. And he says, it's magical. I've been waiting all my lifetimes for this. And he says, we've got you, Melissa. We've got you, friends. And he says, I just wanted you to know that the earth will be talking in different ways to everyone. And we will be awakening a little bit more. Our consciousness is really on track with forward motion instead of chaotic, tumultuous motion. He says those bindings that have been around us, blindings and bindings and things in our consciousness that were done by the darkness a long time ago that cut away our connections with God, and ourselves are being totally obliterated. Like, enough. Like, there was a decree a while back, like, no more. And he says, be who you came here to be. It's all right. Many people are still experiencing, of course, the world is experiencing sadness, disappointment, grief, just almost like, what is this purpose? And he says, most of the starseeds, the light workers, the chosen, the earth angels, the light beings, whatever you resonate with, they're just words, but whatever you resonate with the most means you're a carrier of light. Teachers, psychics, healers, ministers, good people, service to humanity, and heart-centered service to humanity have had it the worst. It's been really disappointing. And he says that won't happen again. And there's this return to spirit, ether connection inside of us that is continuing to clear out our generational patterns. And he says royal bloodlines. And it's building the rainbow bridge here on earth, so heaven on earth. And he says, in my lifetime, I often sat with myself all of his lifetime. He felt like he didn't belong. And he said he didn't hate everyone. It just was like, and to watch everybody just go in the hamster wheels made his mind suffer. And he says there is a particular release in the energy right now, where some of the overthinking and the curses that other people have sent or that have been in our generational patterns are being released, and what we have been imprisoned to, the tortures. There are soul retrievals going on, he's saying. Those are my words, because I tend to use spiritual shamanic healing terminology, but he's saying, no, it's real. There are fragmented pieces. You've known this. So it's been part of my mission in my life for many years, to help others find the path to bring home their fragmented pieces of their soul, like for 25, 30 years. And you just, like, any of the healers or the people that have been on this path, or the service to other humanity people, it's like we don't always have the right words, or words that have not been inverted or tainted. And he says that's going to clear up as well. It's almost like a windshield wiper. And he says clearing off the view, and each one of you in your own way are experiencing, and it could be exhausting, it could be joyous, it could be bad, it could be good sometimes, but he says experiencing almost like the fragmented pieces of you, others, all of us, calling home and saying, please come get me out of this broken state, this wounded state that's being tortured by darkness over here, that for, 1,000 years, many lifetimes, yesterday, all kinds of stuff. And he's saying it's being done in a very big way. So it's, been a couple of decades that people have, that's been their main purpose and missions that I know of, other people that I know of. And he's saying that's really coming to pass. So that again brings us into our wholeness in humanity, our map of our universe of who we are. So I'm going to pull a card from, Return to Spirit cards, and see what we get, see if there's any energies I didn't realize, because I just kept saying return of Christ, return of spirit, return of ether connection, and I didn't realize that that's what I had chosen today. Contact. What I'm getting from this card and what he is expressing in this reading for us is contact with ourselves, a new layer where we are able to access what we could never access before. And again, fragmented pieces of ourselves, wounded pieces of ourselves that others might have pointed out or called you names or whatever it is, but it was not your fault. You did not consent. You did not choose this. And so again, everyone needs to stay in their own lanes. And if they don't know what they're talking about or can't be responsible, please don't be a weird healer, please, because this part is crucial. And we can't have others hurting each other now at this point. That's foolish. And he says, so we're bringing in Like imagine we all have wiring. It's almost like we have a blood systems and these bones and these different systems in our bodies. But imagine we have wiring too, not like the Borg. That's no, but like that fits in our system that keeps everything going. And part of it is ether, so it's invisible to our eyes, but energetic that keeps us in balance and wholeness. And he says, you've been working on that for many years. People didn't like it. And they didn't like it in me. They didn't like it in those people over there. And when you are working on healing, there's always some targeted crazy people that really want to break you and take what you've done and take your life, take your business, take your world, take your mate and things like that. He says, yeah, let's just know that those days are becoming fewer, further between, and the pieces that we have been wounded by all of these experiences in our many lifetimes are coming home and making contact, coming back into the perfect wiring, is how I'm going to say it today, as we were meant to be, back into the image of God. He's saying that's why this Christed energy, as we keep integrating and cleansing, clearing, working on our shadow work, just in ourselves, our own unique universe, our own unique frequencies, and who we are resonates with everyone else in perfect order. So as if you can look at one person connecting and becoming whole, and that person connecting and becoming whole, it also connects us making contact with the different multi-densities and rebuilding the balance of how it's always meant to be, how it was created for us. And so he says that's really big. It's what's happening in a big way. So it'll be magical. It'll be really fun. And he says, sing a song and let your heart song sing. And he's like, carry on. I'm like, is that it? And he's saying one more thing. The return of Christ in us, which is how I like to say it, is I also call it sacred union. Sacred union within is continuing to clear the archetypes, the roles, the templates, and recoding, lifting up the codes in our consciousness or our everyday experience or the simulated goings-ons around us. And it's shifting. And he says, remember, you have to do your own self-work. You can't be pointing at someone else and telling them that they're wounded and they need to feel, or they're dark and they need to like let go of attachments and stuff. That was them. It was a mirror to them, and they're saying that was not you, and they're not catching on, probably saying they are, but they're not. And what you've done is de-louse the old codes with war in it, suffering, fear, bullying, mongering, hate, narcissisms, whatever. And he's saying it's pretty cool to watch because it's visible to us in spirit. We can see the bigger picture in a different way of perspective. Your, again, windshield wipers, he says your perspectives will change and never go back. And it's really cool because he says, you who have done your best at the spiritual work, and please know that God knows. Even if you think you're behind, or someone told you weren't good enough, or they ran you out and then lied about you, that this is truly a time where you will align in that unconditional love that we haven't been able to touch before. You're being rewired, recoded, and that builds that heaven on earth peace. You're doing really well. And he's saying, thank you for holding the light and rebuilding this quadrant of the galaxy, of the universe, so that the rest of the universe can stay in divine order. And it's happening, heaven and earth, in a big, 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 big way. Talking. And he says, we're here. Many of you might be experiencing, he's saying, seeing things out of the corner of your eye more than ever. And he's saying, I just want to say, if you are being like feeling attacks or feeling things very heavy, painful, confusing, traumatizing, tiring, it's just a symptom of what needs to be cleansed and cleared. And we are much closer than we were even a year ago, 2 years ago. And that means that 4D, this fourth dimension that's all around us, is right in our face. And he's saying yes. So we do not choose and wish that organizations would rip holes into the fabric of our world, like perhaps maybe like how CERN, and we do not really appreciate weather changes from outside interference, because that's been happening to each one of you, outside interferences and stuff over the millennia. We've just been kind of enslaved and controlled. And he says those things are being, it's up to you to remove and release, but you will be seeing things, feeling things, knowing things, and having extraordinary downloads, each one of you, that fits each one of you in your just perfect ways. So I pulled another card and I got 2. And he says, for those who resonate with Starseed, just know you have been the most activated and aware people for a long time, in some ways. And he says, like, congratulations, you've helped activate the rest of humanity to awaken and be safe and able to trust that the same bad things won't happen to them again and again. So in essence, you are the Navy SEALs of humanity and came in here and unplugged and cleansed and cleared some of the deepest, heaviest dark energies. And so they're saying, just feel that connection and contact, and just know that they're talking to your celestial light beings, your star families. And if that's scary, then it'll be aspects of God or your higher self might help. But it's helping Christ return to the earth, to humanity. And they're saying that is a term, Starseed, that is a Christed term. Tuning up our soul songs with the universe in full contact like never before. And he says that's a promise. And the other card that came out was manifest. Look at that. So we got some of the rainbow colors, rainbow bridge, which is being rebuilt and rewired back to its original blueprint, and more. And he says that's what's happening. It's a good time to hold everything that you want to manifest. And even if there's interference or you're going through tough days, just know even a second of holding and asking the universe, asking God, asking source, creator, whatever word you use, your higher self, working with that, holding peace, love, joy, freedom, happiness, abundance, prosperity, fulfillment, safety, wholeness, healthiness, vibrancy, and all the divine things. It calls it all back into order like a rainbow. So imagine it all being all dark and scrunchy and grimy, and then as you open up and hold, pray, meditate, hold the state of being of that which you want to be and experience love, peace, happiness, joy, wholeness. And he says it pulls it back into balance in that rainbow bridge, which would be, for our visual, would be like a rainbow. Instead of grimy, skanky, dark, apocalyptic, gross movies. Pulls it back into rainbow gloriousness. He says, I'm glad I got to say hello, and just know I know. And I watch after my friends, family, and loved ones, and all of you, and I'm honored to be a part of some of your consciousness layers. And he says, everything's all right. And I'm all right. He says, I'm also healing and growing, and it's magnificent. And he says, thank you to the starseeds. Thank you to the music. Thank you to the creators. Thank you to creation. And he says, thank you to each one of you. So we're in a really good phase. You should feel it unmistakably. He's like, welcome home. And so he's like, I'm done. I'll say hello another day. Watch for the signs. And he's winking at me. Home. Welcome home. He's very nonchalant about it. Welcome home. Thank you guys. I hope this was fun and maybe give you a seed or a spark. Seed or spark for this star seeds. So thank you all for, again, liking and sharing. And I shall see you soon. Welcome home.